Hey, so I want to talk about this one narrative that gets spread a lot about empaths and what makes someone an empath, and that is that if people open up to you and tell you their whole life story, that makes you an empath. This is really dangerous for like spiritual narcissists, like spiritually identifying narcissists, who think that people opening up to them a lot makes them empathic. Like, it's true, if someone feels safe around you, like truly safe around you, they might tell you a vulnerability that they don't usually tell others. When someone feels safe around you, they might actually realize things about themselves that they never really realize about around unsafe people. But if someone opens up to people like really fast about all their deepest vulnerabilities and like who they are, it can be a sign that they're being manipulated. It can be a sign that they have really unhealthy boundaries. It can be a sign that they've been conditioned really deeply to sharing all of their deepest vulnerabilities with manipulators who will use it against them. So, we could see how manipulators take this concept of empathy and empaths, and they see people oversharing to them and then don't recognize that like people are oversharing because they are the threat. Like, they're not an empath. so let's talk about this. It's nuanced. There's always nuance. I love nuance on this channel. So if you love nuance, subscribe. But and sometimes I'll make mistakes. Like sometimes with things I say, because like words are so confusing and language is just silly. So but okay, let's get back on topic. So one dynamic of manipulation, like it's so complex. If you had an abuser who conditioned you to share everything with them, they condition you through their presence. So it's almost like they can dump a threatening presence and just get you to overshare. And that's how they manipulate you. So if you had an abuser in your life like that conditioned you into that, then when you meet other abusers who aren't like openly saying they're abusers, when you meet other abusers, that same threat response can happen where you're faced with the threatening energy and then you just start oversharing and sharing everything with them. And then for a spiritual narcissist to take that as the spiritual narcissist being an empath is like completely wrong. And a lot of times when people manipulate others, they're very they're in denial about it, and they don't admit it. So I'm thinking of a story where I joined this online group, and the whole question portion of the group was like hijacked by someone oversharing like details about their life. Like there was a clear prompt for what we were supposed to be talking about, and someone was just oversharing. And I'm not judging this woman. I actually felt sorry for her in a sad way. But people were just like, someone was just like oversharing a bunch of details about themselves, and then another person was like on an ego trip, like also sharing a bunch of unrelated details to the prompt. And then when it was my turn to speak, the person on the ego trip like excluded me and started talking over me and just sharing more about herself. So yeah, that was not a fun time, but and what I realized reflecting on that experience is that there's a very this is the exact dynamic that was playing out. I was in a group with a spiritually narcissistic person who was leading the group, and the woman who was oversharing all her vulnerabilities was kind of giving the narcissist exactly what he needs to like target her and try and steal her money, because this narcissist actually did that to me. So it's like I told him some things about myself in like one session, and then he started like making all his content towards my specific needs, and I was like, oh, cool, like this is helpful. And then as I like interacted with this person more and more, I started realizing that like he was super scammy and manipulative, like super scammy. Like he shared something in his online group, and then after the online group he wanted me to pay him $70 basically to just do for me what he already shared in the group. It's like some narcissists think people are so dumb and they like get off on that, and it's really disgusting. But but here's the thing: if you fall for narcissists, you are not dumb. Okay, put the responsibility back where it belongs. When a narcissist fools you and plays on your condition and exploits victims, you're not dumb. They're cruel. Okay? And so, regardless, my point was that people can manipulate others into oversharing by being threatening and unstable, and it kind of works really well in people who already have dysregulated nervous systems. When you have a really calm, regulated nervous system, the presence of manipulators and narcissists is still going to affect you. It still feels like a little bit uncomfortable and like something's off, and that's your intuition working as it should, but it doesn't like dysregulate you so much that you go into like trauma responses and conditionings once you work through your trauma. But when you're already having like a dysregulated, chaotic life, you become even more vulnerable to narcissists, because they can just like dysregulate you with the tiniest things, you know? They don't have to do a lot to like get you to start oversharing or doing what they want. So this is a really important dynamic for you to be aware of as a victim, is that people share vulnerabilities. No, people manipulate you into sharing vulnerabilities so that they can use that information against you. This is a dynamic of predators. And I'll share another story with you, because I actually witnessed this dynamic with open eyes. And it's really cool to think about. So there was this person in my workplace who was like classic grandiose narcissist. Like classic. And when I say that, I'm saying that from a place of I recognized every pattern of narcissist in his behavior. When I go into the world, I observe people. I've developed my skill of pattern recognition. Okay? And so I'm not diagnosing him. I don't give a fuck about diagnoses. But anyway, so I observed patterns of a classic grandiose narcissist. And once I was in conversation with him, they had me doing like 3 9-hour training shifts back to back. And this is really important. I'm actually going to share this too, because like I want you to know this too, is that like 9-hour training shifts is a setup for failure in any job. Because when you're learning a new job and you're meeting like 50 new people and you're trying to absorb a bunch of information, 9 hours is just a recipe for your brain being so tired that you're not actually learning at full capacity. And on top of that, they had me doing 9-hour training shifts and a bunch of studying for a test at home. So it was like just total burnout. So I wish more people understood that like how the human brain works. Like it takes more energy to meet new people and learn something new than it does to come to work for 9 hours, you know what I mean? At a job you've been doing for 3 years. So my managers did not understand that. And I went up to this manager and I was like, hey, I'm feeling really tired. Like, can I go home an hour early? And this request of mine was so reasonable, because I had like 4 years of experience in this industry, and all that was left for the last hour was like closing tasks that I already knew how to do. Like I've already done it for 3 years, so it was like the same setup. So I asked if I could go home an hour early because I was really tired. And a manipulation kind of tactic started where at first he said yes, and then he kind of started talking in that narcissistic word salad, where he's like, then he said no. And so I'm a little bit confused, and I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And as he was talking, he was like subtly baiting me into like telling him why I was tired. Like he was like, is there any more to it? Like, are you, what, like, why are you tired? And, you know, in normal professionalism, I thought that you should just use like short terms, right? Like, I'm tired, can I go home? Or I'm not feeling well, can I go home? But he was actively like pushing for me to give him more information about myself. And that kind of manipulation dynamic is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like he was he created confusion to try and like pressure me into telling him like why I was tired. And then if he found some sort of vulnerability in me, then he has ammo to like use against me, and that's like a super narcissistic tactic. So I'm not the only one who experiences this. Other people experience this too. And you may experience this and not see it. Because I used to experience this a lot and also not see it. And when I finally got to see it clearly, I was like, oh, that's how they do it. But yeah, so I didn't really tell him more information, but it's like, so narcissists with their confusing word salad communication will like subtly test boundaries. They'll subtly push your boundaries and use your emotions against you to like confusion to get you to share information with them that allows them to get away with their agendas. So yeah, oversharing is not a sign of empathy. Like, people oversharing to you is not a sign of empathy. It could be a sign that someone genuinely feels safe with you. It could. It also could be that the person is a manipulator and manipulating people into oversharing. And it also could be that a trauma survivor just has bad boundaries and kind of learned that the way to get connection was to overshare. Like, if you've been conditioned by a narcissist, you kind of falsely believe that connection is sharing your whole self right off the bat. And so when you go to new people, you're used to just sharing your whole self right off the bat. But that's exactly what narcissists want you to do. And don't do that. So our goal, what we want to work towards, is having this sense of like observation and trust in our own perceptions, trust in our intuition, trust in our feelings, and the sense where like we are okay with sharing things with people sometimes. And like, it's not bad to share, but we know who is safe to share with and who is not, and that we kind of get in control of our emotions and our mind in the way that we're not, being controlled by narcissists in a psychological way. So it's easier said than done, but yeah. I really love to share my personal stories with you to really demonstrate these things to you, and people will twist my stories and take things out of context, and I think that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make to help you. So I love ya.